Now make sure that your jack plug is connected to your circuit, and now let's change some things to our program. So this time, instead of a switch, we want our LDR to be the input device that will trigger the LEDs to start to blink. So let's delete this command right here by right-clicking and then click on delete. Let's delete these lines right here, right-click and click on delete lines. And since my LDR is an analog device, an analog input component, we're going to click and drag an analog decision command. So let's put it under Start. And now let's change our cursor back into a line tool to connect this decision to the other output commands. So click on the analog decision command. And now let's assign this to a specific pin. Now as we could see here, the LDR is connected to pin C1. Make sure that this is assigned to pin C1. And now let's vary the levels. So we want our LEDs to start to blink whenever the LDR senses darkness. So let's keep the lower limit, which is the sensing of sunlight in this case. Let's keep it to 0, and I'm going to leave the upper limit as 100. You can, of course, edit this by moving the slider around. However, for this demonstration, I'm going to leave it at 100. I'm going to leave also the cell label the way it is. And now let's click on OK to confirm everything. Now let's check for errors. It's always good practice to check for errors to see whether everything is connected the way it should be. And this time, unfortunately, we cannot simulate our program because this time we have a sensor, we have an LDR. And an LDR will vary according to the level of lightness and not when the pin is either on or off. So here we need an analog input and not a digital one. So on and off here, the digital on and off will not work. So let's stop the simulation, go to the Home tab and click on Program. So our program will download into our microcontroller. Alright, now let's remove our jack plug from the circuit in order for us to test it. It seems here that the circuit is already working. So whenever I should put shade above the LDR, the LEDs should start to blink. So let's introduce some shade to the LDR. And as you can see, whenever the LDR senses darkness, the LEDs will start to blink. Whenever there's light, however, the LEDs will stop, will turn off. Now, of course, with the advantage of using a microcontroller circuit, you can once again edit the light intensity. So let's make this circuit a little bit more sensitive to light. So let's connect our jack plug once again, and let's edit our program. Alright, now we're back to the program, and let's edit the analog decision command. Now to edit this command and make the circuit a bit more sensitive to light, let's slide the slider up to 175 as the upper limit. And let's leave the cell label the way it is. Now you could check for errors once again, but I'm going to go ahead and click on Program and download the program into our microcontroller. Alright, now our program has finished downloading. And as you could see here, this time the program is lighting up the LEDs at a much more earlier stage. It's lighting them up when there's a little bit of dim light around. The LDR has not changed. The LDR is reading the same readings as before. All has changed here is the program and when the LEDs are to light up. Now as you could see here, as I've put the circuit right next to the window where there's a bit more light, the LEDs have turned off. Now let's change the program once again and make this circuit a little bit less sensitive to light. So it will light up when there's a little bit more darkness than before. So let's connect our jack plug and let's edit our program. Now the same as we did before, let's click on the analog decision command and let's change the light intensity once again. This time I'm going to bring the slider all the way to 50. So my circuit will light up when there is a bit more, even more darkness. Let's put it to exactly 50. Leave the cell label as it is. And now let's click on Program. Alright, now when the program is finished downloading, make sure to disconnect the jack plug from your circuit. However, this won't hinder the function of the circuit after downloading. So let's put, now as you could see, with a little bit of shade, this circuit will not work. However, if I were to cover the LDR completely, then the LEDs will start to light up. Alright, now you know how to design a simple program for a circuit which uses an analog input component. Now let's save our work. So back to the program. And now let's go to the File tab on the menu bar. Then the usual, click on Save As. Now make sure where you're going to save your file. Here I'm going to save it on desktop. And then give a name to your file. In my case, I'm going to name my file Microcontroller Demo 4. And then click on Save. Now you could close your program and there you have your saved file. Now I hope you enjoyed this brief tutorial. Now see you on the next one where I'm going to use an actuator. In my case, I'm going to use a piezo buzzer as my output component.